Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. In today's episode, we answer your questions that you sent to us on our Instagram and our emails. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
Woohoo!
All right. Q&A.
Q&A. I like the Q&As. I hope people are finding them helpful and that it's a good way for them to submit like their own questions while still being anonymous. Because I know there's some of that, like, I don't want to say insecurity, but fear that you're the only one, because you're most likely not the only one.
Correct. I agree. Yeah, and we would love for you guys to continue to submit questions. So be on the lookout. There'll be a link below.
How are you?
I'm good. I am definitely preggers. I feel the baby kicking. So that's odd.
That's exciting. I saw his little feet.
I know. It's
fully developed feet.
Yes, and fully developed hands and fully developed, like that was only like you go to like an advanced ultrasound, like it's called an anatomy scan. I was like trying to think of what this is called. And then it's wild to watch. Like I was very intrigued because what they do is they measure every single part of the baby. And then like you can see like the brain and making sure that I know. I was like, wait, what? Like no one told me about this. They were just like, if you don't want to know the gender, just like don't look too closely. And I'm like, okay, how could I not be looking close? Like they can see the brain and make sure it's working okay. You can see the spine. And then they go to like the heart and they show you the chambers of the heart. And like you can see they have different colors for the blood pumping in and out. Then they go to like the diaphragm. It was wild. And I was like sitting there like, holy cow.
Did you see
I guess
sex of your baby?
No. So it was really funny because we're like, we don't want to know the sex. And she's like, that's okay. And so Michael was sitting there because he wanted to go the anatomy part. And she would be like, oh, he's looking really good. And I didn't hear it. Like, cause I was so intrigued by the monitor that like just it's on a TV screen. And so I was just like, okay. And then later on, she'd be like, oh, she's really moving a lot. So she would use he and she.
Oh,
Michael at first, he was like, oh, what the fuck? Like she slipped up, and he didn't tell me when we were in the room. And then after we were done, he's like telling me this. And I'm like, well, don't tell me because like, I don't want to know. But then he started telling me and I was like, oh, so yeah, she like went back and forth. So that way it didn't really matter. And I thought I saw like on one of the scans that we got, because they send you pictures. I was like, I think that looks like a pee-pee, like a boy part. And Michael was like, looked at it. He's like, I don't think so. And I was like, okay, like, all right.
I think it's a boy. I think she was saying boy because it's a boy. And she got caught up and she's like,
yes,
you're having a boy.
Maybe.
Yay, little Christopher.
Part of me hopes it's a girl because I'm like, we've got a girl name kind of like in the running. We don't have any boy names in the running. So that would just make life easier.
Name him after me.
Yeah.
Christopher Michael, because I was named after boys.
Really?
Christina Michelle. Yeah.
That's funny.
I was named after, so this is the shitty thing. I was named after my mom's brothers.
Uh-huh.
But the problem is my mom has 3 brothers.
Oh,
yeah. So Christopher Michael, is my Uncle Chris and my Uncle Mike. My Uncle Tony did not get anything.
Who got left out?
Yeah, he did. So that's exciting. Very exciting. We left Pittsburgh. We moseyed on over to Columbus, Ohio, one of my favorite cities, as I've told you. So we get to the Airbnb. Now, let me just back this up. Y'all know we traveled. Mark and I traveled for 16 months, and we were in Airbnbs 95% of that time.
Yep.
And I had one negative comment because guess who peed on the rug? Brooklyn, not Mark or I. And we travel with one of these little green machines. It's like a Bissell, just for that, right? Just in case.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like this. It's like as big as like your laptop.
That's
yeah. And so we try to clean it up. Then it was like one of those rugs that's rope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. which is probably a fucking outdoor rug. Come on, dude. Get an indoor rug. Anyway.
Well, also, why are you putting a rope rug in an Airbnb that you're going to have to clean?
Right.
Like,
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, all things in an Airbnb or Verbo or whatever should be like easy clean, easy disposable, should this need to happen.
And I will say we did stay at a place in Palm Springs that had an outdoor rug inside, but it was like the one that like if she peed on it, it would just wipe off, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, but other than that, every single person, I have like a 5-star rating on Airbnb. So, and I have like 25 listings, maybe 30. I don't know. So we get to this Airbnb and I walk up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is the blinds like broken? Like the blinds in this one room. And I'm like, this can't be the place. Cause you would think like curb appeal, what you're walking up to. Right. So I'm like, okay. So I go inside and you walk right into the master bedroom. So the front door is the master bedroom.
What?
The master bedroom. Correct. The master bedroom is the same window from the front that has this blind situation. So the blinds are like, it's almost like someone took a razor blade and like cut them in half. Okay. So it's not that they're like up, they're cut in half. And that goes out to the main street, which is a pretty busy street. And during this weekend, they had what they have, it's called Community Festival. It's really cool. It's just a community festival for people in Columbus, and Short North is the area we stay in. There's like music and like it's at this particular park and it's a big deal. And we're right in that area. So I message Airbnb and it's a hospitality service. And I was like, hey, can you guys come fix these blinds? And they're like, oh, well, our blinds are custom. So I don't know how quickly we could do that. Now, granted, next to the refrigerator was another window. So the refrigerator like parched up against this wall and then there was a window with blinds on it. I'm like, I don't need those blinds. I don't care if anyone looks in the refrigerator on the side of the fridge. Just move those blinds to the blinds in the front. No. They're like, no, we're going to come bring you. Oh, there's a blanket in the closet. Can you put that up? It's like, no, I'm paying over $250 a night to stay here. Like, just fix the blinds. Like, go to Home Depot. They will cut them for you.
I don't understand if someone like, I wish what we need to interview is someone who owns rental properties like Airbnb, because I have a lot of questions. Because like, doesn't someone go in after I don't want to say like a renter, like, and that's the situation? Or like, wouldn't the cleaning people that you hired, I would assume, be like,
that's what I said.
Hey, every time you clean, like, we need to know if there's something going on.
Like the fucking blinds being gone in the front room. That's next, like zero privacy.
Yeah. There are so many options to be. So like for our house, we got our blinds from Amazon. So why can't you just order it? Like your complaint might be like, oh, the blinds were like let more light through, but at least you had blinds until they got custom ones. But also, why would you put custom blinds in an Airbnb?
Why don't you just go get some fucking curtains? Curtain rod.
Have you ever heard? So, do you know who Tim Dillon is?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. He
I know who Matt Dillon is. Are they related?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
That'd be weird if they were. So Tim Dillon is a comedian and he is very, very funny. Like he's one of our favorites. And he is actually not allowed on Airbnb because he like in Palm Springs, he stayed at some house, didn't clean up. And so like he got in this big, like this big fight with Airbnb and the owners of the house about it, because he's like, why do I pay a cleaning fee if I have to clean? Like, correct. I have to clean then don't charge me the cleaning fee if I'm going to have to clean. And I'm like, such a good point. And so he's kicked off of Airbnb for that reason.
That's dumb. Well, I might be after this. No, actually Airbnb was the hero here. So let me finish the story.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this guy's like, put up a blanket. And I'm like, no, that is completely unprofessional. And I said the same thing. I go, it's your duty as the hospitality group for the homeowner to come in and assess. And here's the kicker. Are you ready for this? The check-in was until 5. The checkout was at 11. So we're like, if you saw these blinds that are gone from the front of the, like, if
Yeah.
it was maybe in this like back corner room, it'd still be weird. Anyone can creep in and be like, what's up? But because it was at the front of the house by the sidewalk where people walk by, sorry. And they were just giving us the shit. So they're like, I'm like, I want a full refund. And like, well, you can't do a full refund. Da, da, da. And I go, okay. And Mark took over. And
Ooh, hot.
I know he did. And long story short, Airbnb was the hero. Now, my husband's very intelligent. He goes, I need you to look at my wife's listings and ratings because he put me on the listing with him. And he's like, we've spent X amount of money with you over the past 2.5 years. This is not something we do. Look at her reviews. Da da da. They refunded us our money and gave us a $250 gift card.
To Airbnb or where?
Airbnb.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. So
Wait,
thank you, Airbnb.
Yeah, because you guys are Airbnb professionals. So on Airbnb, because I actually booked one we go to New York next weekend at some point, and then we go to Huntington Beach. And so I did Airbnbs. And do you add on the like insurance thing? That's like $25 when you do it.
Okay. No, because we book with our credit cards that have travel.
Oh,
yeah.
You guys are
insurance
for those people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our Chase Sapphire Reserve and our Amex. I know Chase Sapphire Reserve. Yeah.
Okay.
They already have that baked in. But okay. All right. We didn't know this was going to be a podcast on Airbnb, but here we go. Here's what you do. You've got to read the motherfucking reviews, you guys. Read the reviews. Now, this actually had nice reviews. But there was an issue. Another person said that the window didn't close and they wouldn't come to fix it the entire time. So obviously I feel bad for this homeowner because they hired these people to take care of their house. These people aren't taking care of their house.
Reviews? Like
people, I always leave a review. I think it's important.
Yeah. And I always read them too. Because even so the one we're staying at next week, the only complaint I was having the upstairs neighbor very loud at times, which was disturbing. And then I like when the person responds because he says, I wish you would have told me, I would have contacted them immediately. They're very respectful when they know someone is on the first floor. And I thought, oh, well, that is very nice because now I can hold you to that if that should be a problem.
Or bring a noise machine or just use a noise machine on your phone. Yeah. So that's a big deal. You want to look at what's included. Look at all the amenities. Not everyone has a dishwasher or a toaster, or air conditioning or washer and dryer. So speaking of washer and dryer, now I live in the Hilton for 5 days. And then I go to the Virgin in Nashville for 5 days. I don't have a washer and dryer. And for some reason, I can get dry cleaning done at the hotel, which is going to cost me an arm and a leg. Now I'll survive. I wear workout clothes all day. But I was like, is there a laundromat somewhere? For some reason near Ohio State University. Okay. If you're listening to this and you live in this area, you should open laundromats because there's not one here. Yes. Even the girl up front was like, yeah, it's so weird. There's no laundry service around this university. And I'm like, how is that? Maybe it's like, because the university is probably a mile away, but you can walk there. It's like, could be on the other side maybe, but yeah, it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You know, one of the best things about a laundromat is you can do all your loads at once.
Yes, I know. I love a good laundromat, man. Yeah. When I lived in San Diego, this is what I used to do. When I lived in San Diego, we didn't have a washer and dryer in our unit. So on Fridays, I don't know how I got Fridays off. Maybe it was Thursdays. I don't remember what day it was. No, maybe it was Thursdays. It was always the same day because I'd go and I'd give the ladies there $10 to move my washers to dryers, right? And then I obviously paid for the payment for that, for the dryer. And then I'd go to the bar across the street and the same bartender worked. We would just, because we would just hang out. And this was when I was very young. And I would just get tipsy with him. And then he'd get off work. And then we'd go get my clothes. And then we'd go take him to my house. And then we'd go hang out. So that was what I did. It was great.
It's a system.
Yeah. Or when we were on the road in Boston, we didn't have a washer or dryer. And we used a service.
Ooh.
That was pricey. Very, very pricey. Don't do that. So,
No.
Hello, listeners. Coach Amanda here. For July, we are letting you know that our August cohort of the Mindset of Mommy's 8-week program is launching. So for this program, we are going to focus on your health before and during pregnancy through education, support, and confidence. In this program, you can expect to have more confidence for pregnancy by learning the benefits of movement and having a structured program to follow. The program will be 2 to 3 days per week, along with beginner and advanced movement options. In this program, you can also expect to increase your nutrition quality with personalized coaching from yours truly. We'll gain awareness to the changes you'll experience mentally, physically, and emotionally during pregnancy, create a strong network of support by learning about a diverse range of professionals to include in your health during this time, as well as gain education on testing done throughout pregnancy. There'll also be a toolkit of resources that includes PDF documents, additional literature that I recommend, podcasts, and social media pages that support your healthiest pregnancy yet. On top of this, you'll get weekly community group calls, weekly written reviews, and our private forum to engage with other like-minded women. You can sign up for this program today for $3.99, and we will start our August cohort August 5th. So if you're interested, please visit mindsetofmommies.com to get more information and to sign up.
So yeah, I just have to be strategic with my leggings this week. And then we get to Tulsa and we'll have a washer and dryer by Sunday.
Do you have, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'm going to run out of leggings. I have like 20 pair.
I know. Pack like how I pack. I'm like, I need 8 workout outfits for 5 days.
And 20 pair of underwear.
Yes, yes. I always do like an extra pair of undies because you just never know.
I do like an extra pair per day. I know I'm going to wear 2 pair of underwear per day.
Yes, I probably wear, so I wake up in the undies, then I change in the undies, then midday I change my undies, and then I change into my night undies. So I'm like 3-ish pairs depending on the day.
Yeah, I wear pajama shorts. So those are my pajamas. But yeah, I will bring all of the underwear. So, so that's that.
Richardson's this weekend. Have you guys?
Ooh, I love Richardson's. We love that place.
I've been having the leftovers for like the last 2 days.
What'd you get?
So we went for brunch. What did I get? I get the carne adobada with scrambled eggs and beans, and I do their hash browns. Michael and we met up with my old landlord from the apartments.
Yay!
He's great. Yeah, he's on Ozempic, and I'm not happy about that, but that's okay. I know he's just he's always been a crash dieter ever since I've lived there and have known him. So how long has that been? Since 2018.
So what did he eat at Richardson's? That seems like a lot of money to spend.
Michael and I were talking about it, and we're like, he's like, do you think he's on the Ozempic? I was like, I don't know. I'll be surprised if he eats, because usually he's like on a fast or something. He actually got a breakfast burrito and had half of it, and Michael had a breakfast burrito too.
So for those listening, if you're ever in Phoenix, Arizona, we highly recommend Richardson's, the Rokery, or Dick's Hideaway. All the same restaurant chain. They're a New Mexico cuisine, and it's delicious. It's friggin' delicious. So
and their portions are so good. Like, you know what happened to me? I know you'll appreciate
it's not healthy by any means. No. It's very high in fat.
But it's not even like, it's not like it's unhealthy because it's like biscuits and gravy. It's just a lot of food too.
Yeah.
So you know what happened? So they brought out Michael and the guy we were with, his food, and it had cheese all over it. And I really don't like cheesy food. And I try and say like, oh, no cheese, but they didn't have it listed. So I forgot. And so the server came and he's like, oh, I'll come back with your food. And I said, yeah, can you just like, I forgot to say no cheese. It's not listed on the menu. Can you just make sure? Like, he's like, well, it's too late. And I was like, I was like, no, it's not.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Can you just make sure there is not a lot of cheese? And he goes, they already made it. And I said, I understand. Like, because I'm very like, no, I'll send this back and get something else. And I'm also like thinking, you did not just like make the carne adobada, right? Like that's like a steeped stew of pork. And like,
Correct.
Not just make the pinto beans. You did not just make the hash browns. Like the thing you just made is the eggs, and scrambled eggs literally take 2 minutes to cook. So yeah, he told me I wanted to be like, the fuck you saying?
Yeah. Excuse you, sir.
Yes.
And where were you with, does anyone have any allergies at the table that I should be aware of?
He's like, usually people say, and I was like, well, it doesn't say cheese on the menu, so I didn't think of it. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Dude. There's a great place here in Columbus called Town Hall. This place is, yes, it's insane. So the menu has everything listed. It's like got bone broths. It has like all of these freaking healthy options on the menu. You can sub things like zoodles and cauliflower rice and miracle noodle and all of the things. Like it's, and then we went there yesterday because again, we live in a hotel. So I will talk on another podcast about my very strategic food planning because I only have a microwave and a fridge. Yeah. So I got avocado toast with chia seeds and hemp seeds with salmon because you know I love it, with their own house turkey markup, like a sweet, my husband can't eat eggs, so sweet potato Brussels sprouts with I don't know, it was so good, man. That place is spot on, and it's like a bar that plays sports. It's like me in bar form. Like I want to watch sports, I want to drink alcohol, and I want to eat healthy.
Yeah, like they've got.
If they just had like walking pads instead of and maybe like some pool tables, or
like I'm gonna do my laundry here.
Yeah, like
there's $10.
Do you have any? Can I put it in the dishwasher in the back? Like it's literally an anomaly because they have the best, and the food's good. The food's so good. Mark got this like Thai chicken peanut bowl. I got a like spicy chicken bone broth bowl. Oh, so good, so good. So, anywho. Boom.
Oh, they got sushi. You didn't even mention that.
They do have sushi, and it's like sourced from, straight from the ocean, and there's no GMOs, low sugar. Yeah, it's a whole thing, man. I want them to open one in Phoenix. So if you own the Town Hall in Columbus, Ohio, short north, please bring it to Arizona. Thank you. We have a lot of people from Ohio and Arizona, Town Hall owners.
Yes, we do, actually.
Yeah. All right.
Let's answer some peeps questions, shall we? What you got for us, girlfriend?
Okay. So one I got was thoughts on HRT, so hormone replacement therapy for women over 40.
Great question. So I want to talk about why HRT became like bad news bears, right? So the Women's Health Initiative, which was in 2002, right, had explained that most likely HRT would cause cancer, particularly breast cancer in women. So there's an increased risk of cancer, and the initiative
began in 1991.
Thank you. Yeah. So initiated in 1991. And was first published in 2002. It was a randomized trial aimed at addressing the most common causes of death, disability, impaired quality in post-perimenopausal women, or postmenopausal women, excuse me. The problem, though, is that the selection of folks, women, that were in this study were actually much older. And they were already postmenopausal. So what ended up happening is that the group of people, hold on, pause. This isn't helping me. One receiving estrogen plus progesterone.
I don't think they were receiving enough estrogen or something. Oh no, the estrogen only increase the risk of stroke. But then they also stopped it sooner or too soon.
Okay, here we go. I got it. All right. I want to do that all over again.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. Great question. first, I want to talk about why people had a bit of an issue with HRT. So HRT is hormone replacement therapy. That can be estrogen, progesterone, that can be testosterone. There's a variety of things it can be. But there was the Women's Health Initiative, which was a study in 1991 that explained that HRT increased the risk of cancer, specifically breast cancer, in women. Okay. And obviously, at the time, that was a big deal. We think of breast cancer now, and it is one of the, I don't know how to say this, but one of the most treatable cancers, right, that women can get. But back then it was not. The problem though with the study is that it was eventually debunked because the age of the participants were, the average age, I believe, is around 63, right? So if we're looking at HRT's effect on women, we would not want someone older than maybe 40, 50 to see the actual effects, and that 63 is a bit older than a woman who is in perimenopause, or at least the onset of menopause. And so that age difference was really crucial in how the outcomes, obviously, how the conclusions were made. And then the types of hormones too that they used in the study also created issues. So a lot of people were scared to use HRT. But since then, we've had many, many, many studies debunk that, specifically when we're using the proper audience or group of folks to study there. So just wanted to throw that out there. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I also, well, yes, actually, not no. They stopped that. From what I remember is that they also stopped the study prematurely too, because of these findings. And then before looking at the actual data and having going through the peer review process, they announced it, like these outcomes too. So they really, they jumped the gun on. Now there's medical studies and journals and whatnot have their own issues. We're not talking about that, but they jumped the gun on announcing that. And so that gave a lot of fear to people. And then that became the major talking point rather than these rebuttals, like you're saying, or these concerns. So yeah, I wanted to address that.
Yeah. I personally, 1000%, I will be on HRT.
Oh,
I will be on HRT.
Yes. Wait, let's put it this way. To short answer the question, thoughts on HRT for women over 40? Absolutely. If necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. If necessary. Absolutely. And I will say, even I'll take, so my mom's experience lately. So she was on HRT and then got off it. I forget exactly what the story is, and I haven't really asked her. And then she was dabbling in the last year or so getting back on it. And I was like, wait, you're not on it? And she's like, oh no. And I was like, you need to be on it. Cause she's 62, I think now, somewhere around there. And I was like, how are you not on it? And she's like, I don't know. Well, of course she got on it and now she feels better. So, and it's there's so many things out there that, yes, is it your sleep? Yes, is it your hormones? Yes, is it your exercise and your nutrition, your job and all that? But this is an easy win, in my opinion, of helping you. So you talked about longevity, right? And feeling your best. And how do I keep going? And how do I take care of my body? Putting some testosterone cream on every day, or wearing a patch and changing it every 2 to 3 days, I feel is one of the best things that you could do that requires minimal effort, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And, if you're someone who has had cancer, specifically breast cancer, now obviously you'll want to talk to your health practitioner about that, your doctor, whoever it is. But there's just so many benefits to managing the symptoms of menopause. And every person's their hormone replacement is going to look different. I am absolutely going to find a practitioner who starts at the lowest dosage and works their way up. I think that that's incredibly important, not something that we talk about, as Mary, or not Mary, who is it? Dr. Tina speaks about GLP-1s, is even microdosing HRT and finding someone who will work with you, because I'm going to tell you something from my experience with women who have been on it. It's a process to figure out what your body wants. And I'll have people be like, I had a terrible experience, so I got off of it, and now I'm having a terrible experience now. It's like, well, you weren't on the right dosage. Maybe you had too much, maybe you had too little. It's kind of like, Goldilocks when it comes to hormone replacement. But one of the major things that I see people finding a reprieve from is getting more freaking sleep.
Yes.
Reduces their hot flashes. They feel amazing. They're able to sleep. And they're like, I don't care. I will be on this forever. If it keeps me sleeping, let's go. That is one of the things that my clients specifically are just over the moon about. They love it. They almost like, I can't think of any side effects that they've had that have caused them like any sort of, pain or discomfort from it. So yeah. And you can take it, as long as you're, like you said, feeling good, you could take it for the rest of your life if you wanted to. Now, there are going to be some people that it's going to, not work over time, or you need to adjust it. Maybe you have to get off of it. Maybe you cycle it, right? There's a lot of things that you'll want to talk about with your doctor specifically. But like you said, it's an amazing tool in your peri and menopausal toolbox, that there is nothing else out there that will do that will replace that. Now, we can build all the muscle. Yes, that's going to help. We can eat the Mediterranean diet, as I've talked about, or the Galveston diet. That's the other one that I hear a lot of. I've never looked at it. But yeah, their HRT, again, you want to speak to your physician. There are also mental health benefits, going back to our conversation earlier, right? So can help with reducing things like depression and anxiety, improving even bone strength. I already talked about, night sweats, hot flashes. And so, yeah, I think if you are someone who is a good candidate, which most women will be, then do it to it, girlfriend.
I interrupt this episode to bring you our 2nd July promo, 50% off the Mindset Method Self-Guided Coaching Program. This curriculum walks you through my mindset method to help you recreate a relationship with your body, food, and exercise. In this program, you're going to receive a weekly mindset reflection based in the method: the know, the name, the notice, and the nurture. On top of that, you're going to receive daily journal prompts to help you enhance what you're learning in that week's time. You'll also get access to our community forum, and most importantly, access to a Q&A link where you can get coaching from Coach Amanda and I in this exact podcast on everything you're learning. So if you're someone who's looking to recreate her relationship with who she sees in the mirror, how she trains herself, how she feeds herself, or wants to quiet the food noise or the toxic resilience, click our show notes below to receive 50% off using the code INTRO50. Now, back to the show.
Yeah,
Do it.
I would also add, I would strongly, and just based on my client feedback, because I haven't been in this phase of my life, but based on hearing and watching them, is I would go to someone that specializes in hormone therapies. Like, I would not just see your general provider, and I would not just see my OBGYN unless they specialized in it. Because even so, like, I'm thinking of just hearing from the primary providers. Like, a primary provider is a glimpse all of everything. And in my opinion, their role is to kind of lead you to the path that they think would be more of a specialist, and then manage your overall health. And then the OBGYN, like for one of my clients, she was seeing this OBGYN for years. And the OBGYN basically told her, oh, there's nothing else we could do. And she was having hot flashes, terrible sleep. And I think I've talked about her before. And I was like, that's totally unacceptable. And, and she's like looking at me like, well, I've been working, like, she's an OBGYN, but just because she's an OBGYN doesn't mean like they have, I don't remember, but your girl, the Marie Claire Haver, was talking about almost like our education system for physicians needs to change, because just like nutrition, they spend like one lecture on it out of like the 5 years that they're in school. And so similar with the menopause. And so there are certain certificate specialties, education routes where like naturopaths or even primary care providers can take, where they are more knowledgeable on this specific topic as well.
Yeah. You can actually go to the National Menopause,
Like
let me
society
look it
or
up.
something.
Yeah. And find, society. So North American, Menopause Society, and find a menopause practitioner there. And this is the one I talked to you about that we can actually be a part of because we have a license.
Yeah.
But I'm still confused if it's just you test, you don't get like a study guide, you just test for it based on your experience, because you can get a certification through them. There is a textbook that they suggest, but anyway, if you wanted to do that, I think I'll probably do it after I finish all my 75 certifications.
Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think we need to get to a place where offering HRT is like offering fucking birth control.
I agree.
I mean, why did we offer birth control to everyone and we kind of poo-poo HRT? I mean, I understand why, but it needs to be something that is talked about. We'll have a whole conversation on menopause, multiple conversations on perimenopause and menopause, as that is my jam.
Yeah.
But that's our answer.
Okay. Quick.
Moving on.
All right, next one is, what are our thoughts on the Yuka app? And it's spelled Yuka, or maybe it's Yuka. So I'm not familiar with it. You're not familiar with it either. But I'm looking at it, and basically it looks like it's essentially like an app to let you know of like chemicals and additives and sugar in products.
Interesting.
So the health impact of food products and cosmetics.
Oh, interesting.
And so this is where I'm kind of like, well, everything has stuff in it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
so as someone who is finishing one of her 75 certifications is on this. I love learning. And what I mean by learning is starting things and halfway not doing them. ADHD, baby. So we have to realize that our products, especially women's products, have a bunch of ingredients in them that are not great for you. Lots of toxins. And it is, as this is a great question because we just talked about it. It is important to note because there are a lot of like phytoestrogens and things in products that can change your hormones, right? They can mimic certain hormones. But more importantly, there's a lot of additives in a lot of our products. So if that is important to you and you can utilize an app like this to help you understand, great. Yeah, go for it. It's, seems that it's not influenced by brands, no ads. I don't know how much it is, but
it had some,
it's going to, I'm sorry.
It had, it was, never mind, because it was talking about where most of their money comes from. And so most of it looks like there's a premium version and a free version.
Yeah. So you want to look for like in your foods and products for like endocrine disruptors, things that are going to obviously affect your endocrine system and your hormones, irritants, allergens. This is going to look at all of those things. And then it'll give you, which is kind of cool. It'll say, instead of using Carmex, use Burt's Bees. Instead of having Siete grain-free chips, they say that's poor. You're going to have these late July sea salt chips. So, I mean, if that's important to you, yeah, do it to it. I personally kind of know.
Yeah.
I will look at labels personally, like if it has a bunch of stuff in it, even, that's why I love Element Tea, because if you look at Element Tea versus, what's the other one that people use all the time? The blue and
Liquid IV.
Yeah. There's a pretty big difference. Maybe it's Liquid IV. Yeah. I don't remember the other, but there's just a lot of junk. Or even like my hummus that I eat. It's my hummus, my pita chips. Like they're considered processed because they're not in their whole form. But when you're looking at the ingredients, there's not a lot of shit in them. So especially if you're having, like I have a young client, she really has a lot of stomach issues. And so, being able to obviously do a allergy test, a gut health test, and then using something like this Yuka app would be helpful. Another app I like if you have a lot of stomach troubles is called Cara Cares, CARA Cares, CARES. And it will help you keep a hold of your symptoms when you eat certain foods. So you would input foods like you would in MyFitnessPal, but we're not looking at it from a caloric standpoint. We're looking at it from how is your bowel movements, what is your energy levels, how is your bloating, what are some of the other things? Can you see it on there?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
It's pretty thorough to ask you, like, how did this food make you feel? Or at a minimum, looking at the bad days where maybe we had more constipation and heartburn and seeing what it is that you ate so that you can then keep a list of foods that just don't work with your body. So I like that app as well. Another app that I like, I'm going off on apps now, is Nutritionix. Because
you do love Nutritionix.
It's great. It has like thousands of restaurants who have their nutrition online. It has them right there. So you can search foods. So when you go out to eat and you're at like a mom and pop shop, you can just look up those fajitas at some other restaurant and say, okay, these fajitas have 1,200 calories. I'm going to eat them. Because you will, because they're delicious. All right. Any input? I talked a lot about that.
Nope, I got nothing. All my apps are like baby apps right now, so that's all I've got.
Speaking of baby apps, we got a nanny cam for the dogs.
Did you really?
The one that spits out the treats.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because we're staying at a hotel when we go to Nashville, and last time, remember I told you guys we got the principal called on us because my dog wouldn't stop barking. So now it gives us barking detectors.
Oh, really? Is it Wi-Fi enabled?
Yeah.
And then, because so that's a big thing apparently with baby monitors, is I learned.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want Wi-Fi baby monitors. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, wait, I don't know if it's Wi-Fi enabled. It works from an app. Mark has it on his phone.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Anyhow. All right. Next question.
The next question, last one. This is, I am not doing anything different in my routine. Then why am I gaining more fat around my belly?
This was someone who sent me a text, and she is early to mid 40s. And, as we go into perimenopause and postmenopause, our visceral fat, which is the fat around our organs, that's different than like our subcutaneous fat, which is kind of the fat that we can lose, right? It increases, right? And the North American Menopause Society says that a woman will increase their visceral fat from 5% body fat to 15 to 20%. Wow. It's a natural shift, right? It's driven by mainly inflammation, as we talked about, hormone shifts, and insulin resistance. So one of the major things there is we want to, as I talked about earlier, it's kind of funny how these questions line up with our conversation, is tackle inflammation, right? So we want to lean more towards those anti-inflammatory foods. This is why I said the quality of your food frickin' matters, okay? When we lose our estrogen is naturally an anti-inflammatory hormone. When we start losing it, all that inflammation starts to add up. And if our diet too is also a diet high in processed foods, even though they might, again, be healthy processed foods, we're going to see a little bit more of that. Stress too can be a big part of this as well, right? So as we lose estrogen also helps us feel a bit better. I shouldn't say estrogen, I'm sorry, progesterone. Progesterone can be kind of our like chill out hormone. So that's why right before your period, when it goes down, you feel like a raging bitch. See what happens there? So as that decreases, we can also have a lot of stress in our body, and having really high stress can also cause more of that visceral fat. you actually have stress receptors in your fat tissue. I'm going to get that wrong exactly how that works, but that's true to an extent. What do you got? What do you want to add to that?
I would wonder, like, the stress in general, how that has changed. Like, did your work situation change, your relationship situation change? Because you can still be doing, and even like, what is your routine? But you said she strength trains
So
too.
she strength trains or does yoga, and then her
Okay.
job is very very active. Yeah. So
And then based on age, I would start thinking, like, are we perimenopausal? And you know what's so funny is when I start bringing this up into like the 38 and beyond clients, that just something's not hitting right. And I start going like, have you considered that you're entering into like the menopause era? They're usually like, oh no, it's too soon. And I'm like, honestly, like there's such a spectrum of range that I think it would be worth your time to investigate that, because if nothing's changed, your stress is fine, you like your job, your relationships are okay, your alcohol consumption is, tolerated, because that's another thing too of like, is anything different, but you're still like drinking 3 glasses of wine every night, because that might be an easy solution. Then yeah, I would definitely go and get this checked out of like, what are my hormones doing?
Yeah. I want people to understand 45 to 55 is when people will go through the menopause transition. Now we have to realize menopause is one day. So people say like, I'm in menopause. No, actual menopause is 1 year, 1 day of your life. So you're either peri or post, and your 1 day is menopause. So 7 to 10 years prior to menopause, 45 to 55 is when we go into peri. So got to realize that.
Well, and that's your average range too. So you have people who have gone into it at 35, and you have people who have gone into it at 65 too. So it's one of those things of like, be considerate of that.
Right. Well, and it's funny because I forgot I had all these notes that I took on menopause in my phone, and we just talked about all this stuff. But we'll leave this for, so this says 8% of fat is visceral before perimenopause or menopause, 21% after perimenopause. So again, that goes back to that. And obviously visceral fat can increase chronic disease. So again, focusing on anti-inflammatory diet, building a stress management protocol, and even like get your gut checked as well. If we are seeing inflammation in the body, that can definitely come from the gut and be causing us not to absorb certain minerals and vitamins that we need that could help with lowering inflammation. So those are definitely things I would look at. And all in all, say that it's not menopause, then I'm going to take this route. You could have over time lost some muscle because you were not necessarily maybe doing the yoga, and the strength training is maybe we're not focusing on progressive overload, we're not lifting very heavy, or we're not getting enough protein in, so then we're not actually gaining any muscle. We may not be eating enough to then build. So I'd also want to see that for this person. If it's not hormonal, I want to look at behaviors as well, because if we can get some more muscle on your body, it could just simply be as you're aging, you're not as, strong. And if you don't have as much lean muscle mass on your body, then you're not going to have a high basal metabolic rate, or your basal metabolic rate is going to be slower. So then what you used to eat, if we haven't changed what we ate, is now closer to a maintenance, or maybe it's a surplus, like you said, and we need to make some adjustments to get that metabolism back up. And if you want information on that, we have a podcast on that thing. What did we call that podcast? I forgot. Here we go. I got it. Hold on. It's here.
We're at how many episodes now?
Let's go. How to actually work with your metabolism.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Because we kept going back and forth between reset.
Like, I was going to say, considering the season too. So we're in June, July, August-ish. And were we actually eating a little bit more during the holidays than we recognized? And now we're in different clothes of this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? Like thinking of it from that perspective too, if it's not hormonal. I think is a good question to ask yourself, or maybe like, are we having like on weekends, if we're maybe going out on the boat or doing more activities, like, is our nutrition actually changing there and we're not really paying attention to it? Like, I think there's a lot of holes in this question, but it would take like kind of investigation.
Let's give the investigation. Number one, we want to look at our behaviors first.
Yeah.
I know I started with the hormones. Let's look at the behaviors first. Are we having false confidence in what we're eating? Are we eating out a lot? Have we not ever used a food scale and tracked food, even if for a short amount of time, so you can understand that what serving sizes are and what works for your body? Are we not strength training 2 to 3 days a week, full body? Are we not prioritizing protein? If we're not doing those, start with that. Start with that first. And then if that is in line, and I would even add my sleep and stress is relatively normal, I guess you would say, or you're going to have ups and downs, but then I would look at hormones, because the thing that really stood out to me is it's just in the belly, right? Whereas most of the time, behaviorally, especially if you've not been someone to just get bigger in your belly. Like I'm not. I have never been someone who gains weight in her belly. And so for me, that's where I was seeing a lot of weight gain. That's not normal to my body composition. I'm going to see it in other areas. So that's the thing that kind of stood out, that it was just the belly, which we definitely see in peri and postmenopause.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, if you guys want us to answer your questions, check out the link below to our Q&A. You'll also find us, mainly Coach Amanda, on Instagram posting. I'm so bad about it. I don't know. I need to put a reminder on my phone.
I know. And I'm trying to catch up so our episodes match with the date. Like, it's just...
We've got a lot of episodes. Lots of episodes. But yes, we'd love for you to add a Q&A or add a question for us to answer. I have a feeling we're going to have a bunch of them coming up, because our self-guided course will be dropped. And in that self-guided course, you actually get access to our mindset method. And under each of your course curriculum, you get a link to our Q&A there. So I have a feeling we're going to have some people wanting some coaching around the method. You can follow us on social media. I am at Mindset of Matter Coaching, and she is at fitbyamanda.az. You'll also find us at The Mindset of Matter on YouTube to find our amazing recordings of this, so you can see our face, and hopefully we'll be together soon. And if you want to coach with us, you will find a link to our clarity call, which
we're struggling being separated. Obviously, if you can't tell.
Yes, we are. We need to be together. We need each other. But if you need us too, please follow the clarity call link in the show notes below. Sign up for a call with us. Just a disclaimer, these calls are for coaching programs. Mm-hmm. That was something we ran into this week. But if you just leave with one simple piece of advice, whatever you want to call it, remember this.
What you say in the mind,
you see in the mirror. Bye-bye.
Peace.
That was the hardest Q&A. We're like, oh, it's going to be short. No, it's not.
Nope, an hour later.